are going live. I just need to wait for it to give me the thumbs up, and we can start. All right, cool. We're up.
Woo! We are live.
Awesome. So what is up, everybody? I'm John White, CEO of True Mountain. I'm here with our co-founder of True Mountain Social, Matt Barber. And what are we doing today, Matt? Give us a little rundown.
We posted out there and said we are starting this new podcast. It's going to be epic. But for episode 1, we wanted to talk to John and say we want to know more about him because True Mountain has always been relatively open to the public, but I think people still had questions. So this was their opportunity, saying drop questions in the comments. Any questions that you have, we are going to answer them live. This is 100% live right now. So there's no takesy backsies. This is all honest answers. I have 20 questions. 20 questions submitted by the fans, by the audience in 24 hours. You just posted this yesterday. So
Yep.
I think we're gonna swan dive in. You pretty excited? You pumped for this?
I just kind of gave it a go. What I want to do, I want to get this all shared up on social media really quick so we can get more people joining in case they want to live ask a question or two. We will let that happen. But we will maybe, you got it up on your phone by chance? We can almost like look at the questions too live.
I need a laptop for this.
Oh,
I have all my questions on my phone.
Oh,
I came
shoot.
to the meeting like semi-prepared.
well, that's fine. We'll be solid to go. I'll keep an eye on the stream. We'll be watching anybody who wants to talk with us, ask things about marketing, digital. Since we have Matt, what it's like, to be running this company. You can ask me pretty much anything, and we can kind of go from there. So.
Yeah.
Take it over. What you got? What do we have?
Question number 1. I did not write down who these are from except for one question because it is a mutual friend. But question number 1, we got coming in strong here. How did you have the confidence to gamble your future and not know what it was going to bring you?
Oh, that's a
like
good one.
the
So
Entrepreneur 101 question.
yeah, how did you decide to gamble? So I get this kind of question when I talk to a lot of my friends a lot. What pushed you over the edge? What kind of allowed you to do this? Why did you do it? A lot of people think like when you go and start a company, it's just like you're working somewhere, you're grinding out, you're burnt out, whatever, and you just quit and go for it. That was not necessarily my case. So I kind of started True Mountain on the side. I was working full-time as marketing director over at Schillings in St. John, and I did it kind of for a whole year with Jono, our partner who's not on this stream. So we had it going for about a year to see how things were, see if we could build like kind of just a client base and do it the right way. And on top of that, I was building an emergency fund. So in the event something failed, I could still pay my mortgage
Exactly.
and buy dog food and stuff like that. So it was all about kind of playing it safe. I know a lot of people just kind of take the giant risk, but I call it like calculated risk. Same way we approach like marketing aspects, like everything's a calculated risk. So you see it a lot, Matt, with social, where it's like, I'm going to try this, assuming this will happen, but I've also got a plan B and C. So with the entrepreneur kind of like assets or like kind of aspect, I should say, I approached it safely. It was definitely, difficult at the same time.
For sure.
But it helps to be having like a team that backed us, myself, my ideas and like any of my work, and then tying it in with, the skill sets and ideas of everybody else. So it's like, I don't have everything on my shoulders. I can hope that, Jono can help me out. Rich, our other partner, is also not here. He can help me out. And then now we've got, Matt, he can help me out. So it's definitely scary, but with calculated risk, you can kind of offset that scare. So.
It really is a science. I mean, a lot of people, there's a kind of a running joke out right now that the entrepreneurship is a science. And it's true because really everything is just a calculated hypothesis. You're like, I hypothesize I will not go poor in the next year. And there's only one way to find out.
Yep.
And that's to get out there and just grind and hustle and do your best every day. And for some people, the hypothesis still proves false. And they end up losing the momentum or losing the excitement after a year and have to switch to other options. But
Yeah.
So
It can be tough.
It can be tough. So kudos on having the confidence. It's funny, like not a lot of people know, like we worked at Schillings together, and we both worked in the marketing department together. And no one had any idea that you had this on the side. It's like a side hustle.
It was definitely quiet. I did it for a couple of reasons. One, if it was something involved with my last work, I wasn't approaching anybody that we were involved with. So,
Right.
That was kind of why.
You have to do it ethically.
Yeah, I did it kind of ethically. I wasn't poaching any like people that I was actively working with daily. It was people completely in different states, in different counties. So there was no real involvement because I didn't want to bank on moving people from what I was doing, even though it was a different industry completely. But it was doing it the right way, and just trying to see if I could do this without stealing people. You could say stealing people,
Exactly.
but like I said, different industry. But
It still muddies the waters.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you're like, hey,
exactly.
I got a client that you know. Like,
I didn't
makes
want to
it
leave on like a
weird.
bad note, so we left very mutually. So that's what was different from a lot of entrepreneurs. They just get pissed, burnt out, and then leave and never talk to other people again. Like we still have a great relationship with the last place I worked, and we talk pretty actively. So it's cool.
It helps. We're pretty close to them. Question number 2: Are you hiring?
Are we hiring?
Are you hiring?
On and off. We are hiring on and off. So right now we're working a lot of hours to see if we can, accomplish what we do have in front of us for web design clients, video clients, social clients, and the whole 9 yards. We're trying to grow out a lot of our sales department right now, building like a team of salespeople. They just want to hustle, grind, and that's the hardest part. So we're trying to grow and then hire as we're able to. So one of the things I didn't expect, like going into a company, was the overhead of employees, and it is scary to think about.
It's
very, very scary. But we're trying to get to that point. Our sales staff it's pretty cool setup. We got some cool people with us right now. A lot of it's commission based, and it works for us because now we've got people who want to hustle it out, to get that, and then it helps. We give a massive commission for these people, so it's kind of like we're not, paying hourly, but we are helping these people as much as we can.
Exactly.
And if somebody's willing to hustle and grind it out, we want them on our team. And as we grow, we can kind of like develop positions, which is where we're trying to get to because we're still so new. It's something I wasn't, fully understanding of until we really got into it. But now we're
exactly
growing it.
one of the best analogies I've heard for like sales positions at a startup and like a startup agency is everything right now is a potluck. Like if you want to eat, you have to bring something to the table. And I think it's difficult for a lot of salespeople to understand because in a more traditional setting, there's all these different wages that come in and benefits and stuff like that. And certainly we try to help out everyone as best we can. We're not going to get into like our compensation packages here, but it's the hardest thing you can't teach, the intangibles that help people win. And that's that hustle and that grind and that desire to get out there and sell and try and like sell the vision and try and
It's a
grow
lot.
with us.
It's a lot. But we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Very close. 2019, we have to expand at this point.
Yeah.
We are like, I'm personally working like, 80 plus hours every week. I know you're grinding it like crazy. I can speak on behalf of everybody else. Everybody's here every day.
Everyone in the background is currently working.
Everybody,
while we record this.
we are having people working right now. But we're going to have to expand it here shortly. In 2019, with the way we're going right now, we'll be able to. So I'm super excited about that. But it brings us back to earlier when we talked about leaving my last job to come here as an entrepreneur. Everything's a calculated risk. So like I know where we kind of need to be with client space and everything else to basically be like, all right, we can afford another person on this team.
Exactly.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Exactly. Question number 3. What are your thoughts on data mining?
Ooh, I know who asked that one. So that's a funny question. So if you don't know what data mining is, it's essentially what marketing is now. So data mining is how we approach modern day marketing. It's not about graphic design to an extent. It's not about just the look of your website. It's how do you use the data on your website to make it better or get more clients or get more leads, whatever. So we're taking essentially, I know that on a website, I can go and look at the demographics of our customers. I know there's 40%, women, 60% male. Now I can start using that data and mine it and start creating ads based on that.
Right.
You do it a ton with social.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was always calling my dad, who asked this question, crazy for asking it because I told him, no, I'm going to be a professional photographer, graphic designer, whatever. Turns out he was very right. So, kudos to him.
So listen to your parents, kids.
Marketing is all about data mining and how you use that data. So.
Exactly. We're given a lot in our positions. We're given a lot of data and a lot of information that you kind of ask yourself, like, should I have this? Like, should I necessarily have this? And so it's a lot of ethics starts coming into play the deeper you get and the bigger you get and the bigger clients you start handling.
Big time.
There's a lot of you just start like calling your pastor, calling your priest. I mean, like, I don't know what to do. We'll move on from data mining. What is your favorite childhood memory? Well, good follow up to the dad question.
Oh man.
Now that we know he hasn't clicked off yet.
Yeah. So there's I got a lot of stuff that I did. You could tie it back. There's so many good memories. One that would be like very related to now would be like the first video I ever created. So it was like a lot of people say like, how did you get into it? Like, how did you learn? Did you go to school? This. Like, no, I just took a camera, went out, recorded, and then edited a video in Windows Movie Maker, like a free program on your computer. I think I recorded with a tiny little, like, I don't even know what they're called. These tiny little like picture cameras in like quality that looks like a Razor phone almost. But it was an I'm on the Boat remix music video, scene for scene, and it is still on YouTube to this day.
To this day.
So I know, and I edited it. I shot it, edited it, and uploaded it the day, all in one day pretty much. So it was up that night. So it's funny, I can like look back and see the first everything I created online and have a date for it. So that's pretty cool. But I remember like shooting it. I remember it was just so funny when I look back at it now. But you could kind of tie that into like me being like, wow, I just want to learn how to line up this voice to this song, like in Movie Maker, which is not easy. It was like very difficult, and I remember being so frustrated. But with that frustration is kind of like how I started getting into like video and photo and starting to learn and be like, how do I do this? Like, is this why they pay the guys the big bucks? Like, and it is. There's a huge amount of learning that's involved. So that memory of me just making that video for a whole day and being done with it in a day is like something I very much remember.
I'm like, how many years ago was that?
Oh, I can actually let me see. I can pop it up on this.
So are we close to like a 10-year anniversary?
Look, I'll even
15-year anniversary.
Pop it up on the screen. Oops, let's see here. So we're on YouTube. It's an interesting. It's getting close to 10, I think. Actually,
10 years. Maybe for a 10-year anniversary, we'll request an updated version of this.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. So we have slower internet right now since we are streaming, but my account on my old YouTube is called White530. So it's an interesting one. Actually, we're in this something else right now. Let's log in here, and there we go. So White530. I'll tell you, I want to say it was like 9 years ago. And we're getting close. So yep, 9 years ago, 2,000 views.
Man,
hasn't been flagged for copyright infringement, which is pretty wild to me. So we'll let it keep going.
We're gonna be flying through Creative Commons trying to find the new backup track.
Exactly.
The question, we're rolling into the fifth question now. What size marketing shoe do you wear? I actually kept this one in on purpose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't. What is it? What are they?
What size marketing shoe do you wear?
I don't get it.
It's such a weird question.
I don't get it.
I just want you to understand something about your friends.
What kind of questions do you guys ask?
That's such a weird question.
I give you one chance to be serious with me, and you blow it. I don't know if that means like how am I involved with, I guess, marketing, and we'll just assume it means that. So, what do I know about marketing? So. For anybody that doesn't know, I started with video production. I was a YouTube partner. Before that was a free thing you could do.
Yeah.
They had to invite you. So I paid for my prom when I went with Ashley with YouTube money. So that's how I got started. I made YouTube videos. I ended up going into LCTV at my high school, so I made videos for the little news channel and everything.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I learned so much. And then I ended up learning graphic design, so a lot of Photoshop stuff, making cool little pictures. And then eventually got into like the full marketing aspect of social media now, building a website, and learning web design took me the longest time of everything. But now it's like my favorite part. So we learned web design, then I learned social marketing, which is a whole nother world, and just kind of divvied into everything. So in terms of like the marketing shoe, I guess you could say like I wear a lot of marketing shoes. Like
it's a very large marketing shoe.
It's kind of like strung out across all of them, and
it's like Shaquille O'Neal size marketing
not
shoe.
Not that I do them all, but it helps to know everything. So I wear a lot of shoes, but real shoes. I wear Vans.
Quick question: OS X or Windows? I want to say this question was submitted by our good old buddy Jerry Hendrickson.
Oh yeah, Jerry's the man.
Jerry's the man.
So I think he doubled that question. I think I remember seeing that one. So
there's a second part.
Okay. Yeah. So I prefer Windows absolutely. And this, I worked on a Mac for a year when I was at my first like studio job. And it was okay. It was cool for graphic design. But when you're a video person, you're using like Lightroom and Photoshop for a lot of heavy Photoshop editing, you need a PC that just grinds out. You just need to absolutely like have the power behind you.
Yeah.
In right now, the Apple pricing is just so ridiculous.
It is stupid.
This is like my go-to computer right now. It's a Razer PC. It's very strong. I have a massive computer in the corner that I use for video editing as well. And not only the price is awesome, but the way it functions is awesome. It's fantastic. It works for how I work, and you can use whatever you want. We have people come in here with Macs all the time. It's really just a tool. It's like Canon versus Nikon.
Exactly.
I'm good with my Mac or my PC, and I stick with it. But some people, are better with a Mac, and that's fine. Really, the only difference is the Alt button is your control button, and they just flip flop. So that and price.
I always used Mac. Like I grew up on PCs. I used Macs when I had my other business, and it straight Mac, and I loved it because it didn't require anything creative. It was just task management, essentially stuff. It was easy. And a MacBook Air, it was sweet. I loved this thing. It was also like a quarter of a pound, and so it was easy to get from A to B in downtown Chicago. But then when I was getting into marketing, I'm like, I want like a workhorse.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend a bunch of money. So when it came down to pricing, I mean, it was simple. Like the Mac that I wanted was like $2,300.
Yeah.
Or you could buy a gaming rig like loaded to the T
And upgrade it whenever you want.
And upgrade it whenever you want. And I think I paid like $700 on a Black Friday sale for an HP Omen gaming laptop with like 1080 Ti and like loaded.
I just wish they integrated a little better with like phones and stuff, because right now that's like my only downfall. But
for sure.
For the most part, I mean, I love
it. Does integrate well if you have an Android, which brings us to our next question: iOS or Android?
Yep. So that's a funny one. So I use my my PC constantly, but I will never use an Android phone. No, I have my
Don't
iPhone.
making life easy.
I mean, these things are so perfect for ease of use. I mean, that's why I use my PC. It's so easy to use. My iPhone is so easy to use, but they just don't integrate perfectly. That's my only.
My Android is perfectly easy to use. It
see,
integrates well with my PC.
Ashley had a couple Androids like when they were first starting. You're talking about like the little flip ones and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think one lasted longer than 3 months, and I don't know if they were real Android at the time, but like after that
it's
nightmare,
like the HTC knockoffs.
It's like I was like, this is a nightmare. Why would anybody use this? This sucks.
I've always used Androids because I didn't want to get on like the iPhone bandwagon. I didn't want to be the dude standing out in like the cold for like, in a 10-mile long line waiting. So I've always used like Samsungs and HTCs, and I've loved them. But now I'm at the point where everyone else uses an iPhone, and I'm like, I feel so left out.
We just got done yelling at you for not having one because we got our iPhone group message, and we can't add you to it because it's all messed up.
For sure. I bet you still can. I'm just a little mad about it. Question number 8 here. What have you learned that you didn't expect becoming an entrepreneur? We've talked about this a little bit, but a more focused version of that. What have you learned that you did not expect? What's been your biggest surprise so far?
So there's one thing I always, admit that I'm not the best at, and that's kind of like the business accounting side. The legality side of everything, like when you hire somebody, what do you have to sign? Or when it comes to taxes, when do you pay your taxes? Like, I still don't know, to be honest. I'm still figuring it out. And bringing on people is like such another thing you learn real quick. Like, you can't just hire 4 of your friends or good people.
Right.
They're just not affordable. You learn that so fast, and it's kind of like a wake-up call when you actually do start something, is look, like, I can't afford to hire somebody right now. I'm going to have to grind it out. Like, otherwise, I'm not going to last longer than a week.
Right.
You just can't afford it. So that was kind of a big wake-up call. Having, like, my partners, Rich, around really helped a ton with the business side. So not only does he help like manage a lot of that and with like contract stuff, with like the actual business accounting and making sure we don't buy too much like food every day.
Still hasn't won that battle.
Yeah. So like he helps like not only teach me that, but also like stay on top of it. So we're getting better at it. But I'm wearing a lot of marketing shoes, so business shoes are like slowly learning how to get tied right now.
I think it really comes down to like what we preach to our clients is like I personally like I love social media. Like I got in business to do social media. I didn't get into business to be an accountant. I didn't get into business to do legal stuff and look at papers all day long. And so it's easier to find people who did get into business and be like, here's money, just make my problem go away so that I can do focus on what I started my business for, or we started True Mountain Social for.
Exactly. And it also comes down to like the employee side with hiring it out. Like, let me hire an accountant, and then you get the bill. You're like, I'm never doing this again. Like, I'll figure it out.
Like, QuickBooks. QuickBooks is fine. We're fine.
So it's a lot of learning constantly, and I still find things every day. I'm like, holy cow, I need to figure this out like now. But it's constant. It's constant. Like, I didn't expect this. Like, oops.
Yeah, I think every day right now it's presenting that challenge. Where look at something and you're like,
well, when I left Shillings in January, February, we spent like 3 months before we really like pushed True Mountain, just learning and setting up like the accounting process. How do we bill people automatically? How do we send an invoice? How do they get the invoice and then pay for it online? Like, what fees are included? Like, there were so many things, like contracts. How do they digitally sign it versus coming in and signing it with a piece of paper? Like, we don't even have a printer here, so we need to figure this out. Like, there was just so much that we started to learn, and we're still figuring out now. But we spent a lot of time doing it.
Yeah, for sure. This question was, someone did request that we don't include this question, but I have to. Do you ever help oil Jono's mustache during work hours?
I do not. I don't know if he uses like oil or
Thank you
wax.
personally to whoever submitted this question.
There's definitely a technique to it. I don't think even if I did it, I wouldn't do it the right way.
Everyone
so.
is a master of their craft.
Exactly. He's got it down to a science. So no, I do not.
Not during work hours, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see. When using quizzes or scorecards in marketing efforts, does it increase response rates from prospects, and what does the research say?
So that's a good question. For anybody that doesn't fully understand it, it can have a few different meanings, but essentially, like if you've ever landed on like a Zillow page, and you want to calculate what your mortgage is going to be for the year, so it's going to ask you a set of maybe 4 to 5 questions and qualify you to basically give you certain answers. So it's going to qualify you and give you, you should go this route, you should go this route or this route, but you have to fill out the form first. Right. So do I think they're good? Not really, depending on who you are and what you're doing. So for us, we tried it when we first started. We had a big form. People would basically open it, put in their budget. What are they looking for? Video, photography, whatever. If they put in photography, like how many locations what are you trying to get photography for? A business? All right, how many locations? You enter that in. All right, so now how many different photos you want of each location? Like we had maybe one person fill it out of the thousands of people that visited the website.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times for small and medium business, it scares people away. The best bet is to make it simple for people to contact you if that's what you're trying to do. Don't qualify them right away. Have your sales team or you have a voice conversation. But if you're some massive corporation like Zillow, you really need to get that filled out. Or if you're getting like a ton of inbound leads like crazy, it's almost necessary to do that. So it's like a 50-50 response. For us, it didn't work.
Right.
Small businesses, I don't think it fully works. It depends on kind of your user base. But it can help you get an idea of like what you should do after they reach out. You can send them a secondary email like, hey, fill this out, and you can kind of skip a couple questions when you finally call them. So
yeah. The answer is slightly different when it comes to Facebook lead forms.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, yes.
Slightly different, which we will get into if someone asks about it on my Ask Me Anything. But we'll come back to it if we have time.
Okay.
What was your first aha moment that you knew you wanted to become an entrepreneur? There's a lot of parts to this question. I'm going to ask them one at a time. But
okay.
What was your first aha moment you knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
I think it was more of an aha moment of like, am I an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
It's not like I knew I wanted to become one. It was like, crap, am I one? Like, am I about to take a lot of risk?
Yeah.
And it's like I said, I was working full time. I had a great salary. Everything was great, benefits and everything. I really liked what I was doing. I liked everything about it. I just wanted to expand in different industries. And that's when I was like, well, I can't do that where I'm at right now. And I was like, oh, crap. Like, am I an entrepreneur? Like, am I about to do that? So it wasn't necessarily aha, like, this is it. It was more like if I want to do what I want to do, I have to be one. Like, you got to take the risk. And it was kind of how it happened, I guess.
I'm going through the question right now of am I a serial entrepreneur? Because this is the third business that I've started. True Mountain Social's the third.
True. Yeah, you're going through them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, am I serial? Like, do I automatically get like Gary Vaynerchuk's phone number?
I don't even think you do it on purpose. It's just like
that's just kind of the way life worked out.
A lot of people told me I was an entrepreneur before I even agreed with them. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I work 40, 50 hours a week just like you.
Exactly.
But then I go home and work another 30 on side projects. I'm like, oh wait. Yeah, maybe I'm an entrepreneur.
But it is possible to act like an entrepreneur in your business and take your role very seriously and own your role. Then you almost become an entrepreneur within your own right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can quit your job and golf all day long like we do. Yeah, right. Let me see. Is there a person or mentor figure who has helped you get where you are?
I mean,
that's a pretty long list.
That's a big one. There's so many of them. I mean, I got like my parents alone. Like my dad was very pushy and like how I would do things. And it's funny. It's so like. I always grew up and I was told I grew up racing motocross and BMX, which is a single person sport. Like,
never would have guessed that in a million years.
So state champion of Indiana 5 times, like in a row. So like really, 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 really into, really into it. And the thing with like sports like that and extreme sports, it's very much on you. So like if you're going from point A to point B as fast as you can, and if you don't make it the first one across the finish line, it's because you didn't try hard enough or you let somebody get in your head. So I always grew up with that mindset of like, it's all on you. Don't do that. I was never a soccer person where you rely on your team to win. And I was always raised of like, don't do that. Don't do that. And then the more I started getting involved with like some other people that really kind of pushed me different directions and had other businesses, you start noticing like you need people around you to grow and manage other things and, you know, be better at what you're doing so you can focus more time on stuff. So, you know, my parents kind of got me on that mindset, which helped me, you know, learn on my own. That's why I spend so much time learning how to do Photoshop, learning how to do Illustrator, because I've got that mindset of like, if you don't do it, like you can't rely on somebody else to do it for you.
Right.
If you don't come in and get your clients caught up, then who will? Like if this fails, it's on me. And I still have that kind of approach, even though we've got a team. But that's kind of just how I was raised. And I think it kind of pushes into everything, even the people I met with. But I learned a lot, you know. Frank Schilling taught me a lot about business, how to go into negotiating meetings, you just talk with your employees, you know, all the Schillings in general. I learned so much there that they really did influence like how I approach a lot now. And that's like, you know, experience you can never like almost double down into. It's a small handful of people get that opportunity.
Right.
I think they really did a big influence on how I am running my business now. And then, you know, there's just so many people that have been in my life that help me expand now. Like having you, I get a lot of like learning from what you do with social. Like I get a lot from Rich with his business. I get a lot from how Jono's been learning new techniques with video, like how to set your camera settings, all that stuff. Like everybody kind of influences, and I just take it all in now.
Exactly.
So you have to, you know.
Yeah, I think it's for me. I know that when I'm working, I can look over and like see like Jono's doing something cool. I can be like, that is awesome, and now I know I can sell this and like weaponize this for myself, like for my own goals and my own like personal mission or whatever. Like it's still very team based. Like we're all in this together. Because I look and I realize like he's owning his path.
Yep.
Like he's in first place in his path. And I'm like, this is so cool. And the same thing for you when like you're like, hey, look at this like awesome code I wrote. And I'm like, I didn't know that like this was possible in the website and bringing like AI into stuff. And it's so fascinating. And even same thing with Rich and like seeing that like his experience and how he's growing, like everyone just owns their own segments.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that like we're a team, like we've all got the same goal and we're all getting there. You're just kind of like, you have to own your own rights.
You have to. And if people are looking for like actual people to look at, you know, if they're, you know, not in my personal life, that kind of influenced me. You got people like Gary Vee. You've got Grant Cardone, who's very big on sales. He might be a little pushy, but you'll learn a lot from him if you're looking for like that like push. Like
right.
He's very good. You've got Brian Cristiano, who's got Bold CEO in New York. And then like just finding these entrepreneurs that I started following and learning, like, look, the way I was raised is how these guys are also like acting. Like you have to grind and hustle. So those are just three people you can check out. So yeah, look up Gary Vaynerchuk, Brian Cristiano, Grant Cardone. All these guys are great to follow. And highly recommend.
Let me see here. How significant, this plays off the last question. How significant is it to surround yourself with good people and people who are similar but different visions, have different visions?
That's an awesome question. So this can kind of be brought up into two things I always like to tell people is like, I surround myself. What's that? This is the quote. It's like you've got 10 people in a room. You're always going to be the 11th that's just like them, or something similar to that. Like, whoever you surround yourself with, you are essentially that group of people.
Right.
I've went through multiple groups of friends when I grew up. Through high school, everybody kind of did, until I finally found one that was like oriented and basically focused like I was. And realistically, like in business now, I surround myself in business with people with the same mindset. So like a lot of people don't know, like Jono was never my friend before we got this started. We knew each other in high school, but once we started hanging out, like we knew we were the same mindset of like, get stuff done, grind it out, make cool stuff, and, you know, expand. And we just were with each other every single day, and it worked. We just fed off each other's like energy. And then we just started bringing more people in, and people that come in our office that we invite and hang out with, like we kind of like give them this energy too, and tell them like, look, you can do this. Just come in, keep the energy going. Like it's all about the people you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
But don't like take this as in like, well, my friends aren't like this. Find new friends or make new ones that are like that. Go to meetings around for like entrepreneur groups, which we're going to be starting here soon locally. So that'll be good for, you know, Northwest Indiana, and find people like that. I mean, 2 weeks ago I met with Alex Nicola for coffee at the Sip.
That's a good dude.
And he's got the same, you know, we had this conversation. We're like, look, it's who you surround yourself with, like whether it's a business mentor, just somebody who happens to be grinding it out, and reach out to them on Instagram like, hey, let's grab coffee. You don't need to sell them anything. You don't need to hope they hire you. You just want to connect and learn. And I think it's very important to growth and getting in the right mindset.
Let me see here. That's a phenomenal answer. I'm not even going to dilute it with my own comments. Is there an app that you hate but you use anyways? We're getting some more lighthearted questions.
Let me look.
What app do you hate but use anyways?
Oh shoot, there's got to be so many. Oh, that's not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily an app for a phone, but Photoshop updated changed all my hotkeys. I am honestly like livid about it. Like very close to contacting them with a very pissed off message. So if what nobody notices, you can kind of see it right here. So, you know, when you're on Photoshop, you can kind of quickly do things like can copy, paste, switch your tools to do brushes and different things like that. Essentially, Photoshop updated and all of it's different. So a lot of people are like, big deal, just learn the new ones. And I tell people, I'm like, I have been using Photoshop since I was 14. I'm 25 now. I'm like, I've been using this program longer than I've been driving a car and probably way more hours. And it's like basically taking your car, putting it on the left side of the road and being like, figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
And it's still like, you still know what you're doing. You're still driving, but everything's backwards all of a sudden. And like, you just think to do this and you're supposed to do like to right turn or left turn and you do the opposite and you're like, damn it. And you switch it. And it's something so small, but it's extremely frustrating. So I'm pissed at Photoshop right now, specifically.
Specifically Photoshop.
Yep.
What company or franchise do you wish would go out of business? No one's going to watch this podcast. It's fine. What company or franchise do you wish would go out of business? Time to get aggressive.
Who should go out of business? There's quite a few.
And if you're watching, comment which one you wish would go out of business.
I had this conversation a couple days ago, and I was like, I just wish they would die. Like, just close your
Whoa,
doors.
just go out of business. We're not killing off families here.
Kill the business, you know. Or I don't think, you know, this company will go out of business. More so, I think they're going to start changing really quick. Specifically, I don't have any issues with this company. To be honest, I really hope they succeed because competition's good. But Best Buy needs to change like soon. I think we saw it with Circuit City. We saw it with some small competitors. You're seeing a lot of very
H.H. Gregg.
small. Yeah, H.H. Gregg. They even tried to buy a lot of the Circuit Cities out and still failed.
Right.
But the problem is you go in there and it's just a mess of stuff. The prices are ridiculous. And like everybody says, it's still an Amazon showroom. Like
Exactly.
I'm going to go in there and then shop it on Amazon.
That's 100% true.
So for retail in general's got to change to stay alive. It's not that I want them to die. It's just they have to change. Something needs to change up.
Yeah.
But from like an online aspect, I wish eBay would die. I hate eBay. The fees keep going up. The actual platform is terrible. I've had an eBay account that got hacked like 4 times. I lost so much money with eBay. Their customer service is, third party in India, so you can't even get anything fixed. eBay's a terrible company. So I hope I never have to work with eBay.
For me, for the longest time, it was Snapchat because I kept saying like Snapchat's dead,
Yeah.
Snapchat is dead, Snapchat is dead, and they keep hanging on. People keep asking like, should we be on Snapchat?
I
I'm
don't
like,
use it
swear to
anymore.
God.
Yeah.
I'm still on there. Like I log in like once every like few months, but as soon as they went through like the algorithm and their like face change, like their UI UX change.
Yep.
And it pissed a lot of people off, and I was
It
in
did.
that group, and I was like, I'm done here, guys. And then they were down to like 100 employees
I was
or something
so
like
into
that.
it too at first. I bought the stock,
Yeah.
at IPO.
Oh, I was too. I loved Snapchat when it first came out.
I think I had it like $22 a share. It dropped down to like 11. Randomly, it went up to 26, and I sold all of it. I'm like, I am out of this. This is not going to work out. And now, I mean, it's true. They're not making any money. So what happened was, Facebook came in with the Instagram buy,
Yep.
then remade Snapchat to an extent, but better, how it should have been, I guess you could say. And they did a way better job. So it's like we tell a lot of companies, innovate or die. So
Exactly.
that's the way it's going to happen with them.
One way or another.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
I just wish it would.
I mean, shoot, Vine was almost like that, and they died, which was
Vine,
crazy.
yeah,
Vine
they
was
died.
huge.
That was a
Look how many
rapid
YouTube
nosedive,
stars
too.
are big because of Vine.
They're still, even if you go on YouTube and type in like 20 best Vines of like 2016 or something, they're hilarious. But Vine took such a rapid nosedive that no one was expecting it.
It's crazy.
There was a few other platforms like that, like Vidler did the same thing, where like Vidler
really?
was like really fast. It was like an early competitor with YouTube, and it just kind of like swan dived one day.
Yeah, like Wes just commented, said Snapchat's people selling premium snaps and the Kardashians. That's it. And he
Exactly.
he makes a good point because I forgot about that. If you ever went to like the news section of Snapchat, it is a nightmare. And
Yeah.
they'll have like they'll just have like girls in bikinis with like legitimately photoshopped like bodies. I'm like, what?
Like I can go on Instagram for this.
You're literally devaluing your app, You're
Exactly.
just devaluing the whole reason why I go on there. Like, you could be more of like a Reddit and give actual news on that feed with content, but instead they're basically being this like fake clickbait,
Well,
junk.
they know that just through Instagram, like when a lot of businesses ask like what sells on Instagram, my favorite thing is there's always 3 things that sell on Instagram. It's luxury cars, luxury women, and luxury food. And
Yep.
Snapchat was trying to take that, but they took it to the extreme.
Yeah.
And it just became like not a toxic platform, just a platform like you don't want to spend time there. You're like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to get when I go here. Why would I go there?
I think they would have won had they have set up like a better profile setup so people could follow you and friend you. But they were
Right.
like trying to do this like basically they were like send a photo and it goes away and nobody ever sees it again type idea,
Exactly.
and they never evolved. So
It was big for a little bit if you were like. It was like basically, I think Tinder was what actually killed Snapchat.
that's a good point.
Snapchat was the early Tinder. Like you wanted
was.
to hang out with a girl, you would send nudie pics. They disappear in 2 seconds. Or if you wanted to like cheat
Yep.
on your wife and didn't want to pay for Ashley Madison, apparently
There
you
was
used
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Am not guilty.
And then what?
Can confirm,
Snapchat
but-
ended up. It turns out they saved all those photos on their server. And they got caught.
Exactly. Exactly. Like they end up saving, like nothing disappears on the internet.
Yep.
Nothing disappears. Even this will be around forever.
Mm-hmm.
What conspiracy theory do you actually believe? Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, that is a good one. Conspiracy theories.
I've got one that I like am firm in.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do you got?
This might burn the company down, but like, you ever watch like Loose Change?
I haven't.
The conspiracy theory that 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh, okay. I got that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
I think okay, that's a funny one we can touch base on briefly because we
All
won't
right.
get too far off marketing.
No.
But the way I see it is, if 9/11 was an inside job, do you really think Trump could have held that in? I'm like, this guy will say anything. That's why I'm at this
That's
point
true.
where
You know,
I don't
that's
think
true.
we've found aliens yet because he would have said something.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to handle himself.
He would have said he already had a meeting with him.
It would have been on a tweet, years ago.
Exactly.
But that's always my reason.
Building
And
a space
it's,
wall.
It's half like serious, half like a joke.
Maybe that's where Space Force came from. Maybe he does know that aliens exist. He just wants us to be prepared, but not everyone thinks he's
Exactly.
nuts.
Yep, I've seen all the videos. It's interesting to follow along. But, that's funny.
Well, we are not going to swan dive into politics.
Yeah.
Let me think. So, is there another conspiracy theory that you believe?
There's not too many. There's conspiracy theories people always say, which I'm like, this is true, which brings us back to marketing is Facebook. Like, oh, I left my phone next to, a Spanish radio station all night and now I'm getting Spanish ads. Like, I bet they're listening. Like, hello.
They are.
Yeah, they
They
are.
are.
It's not even a conspiracy. Like, it's true. They listen to everything.
And part of that was just I'll open this up even farther. Part of that was based on the phone that you have. So Apple was like, no, they're not listening. You can trust us. Like, but Android was like, yeah, bro, we totally do that.
Yeah, we allow-
like,
we-
they came out like, yeah, we're all about this.
We're
Like, yeah,
cool.
we report it. Like we're gonna take that information in. We're gonna report it. It's like your Amazon Alexa. Like they're listening.
Yep. And people get mad about it. And this is my favorite part is when people get mad. I'm like, look, like, would you rather get these ads that at least it thinks it knows what you want?
Yeah.
Or would you rather get like an ad for a dress? And I'm like, I don't want to buy a dress. Like, no. Like,
Not since
at
that
least
one
it's
time.
sending me the right ads. So I don't see what the big deal is.
Dude, I've interviewed so many people and talked to so many people. They're like, yeah, I turned all that like ad targeting off. I'm like, why? Why? At least get ads. If you're gonna enjoy your feed, you're gonna get ads regardless.
Yeah.
The advertiser within me wants to like help out those brands advertising and be like, yeah, buddy, you nailed your targeting. You got the right guy. Like if I'm thinking like I want new shoes and I see an ad for Allbirds, which are the most comfortable, phenomenal shoes on the planet.
I keep getting them too.
Oh man,
They look like
Allbirds are the
socks for your
best.
feet.
They are the coat. They're made of like wool or something like that. Super cozy.
That's
And now
funny.
we're
I
both
get
gonna
those
get
ads.
blasted with ads for them.
I actually do get those ads. That's why.
Oh man, Allbirds are sick, and if my wife's listening, I want a pair for Christmas. So, yeah, that is a conspiracy theory. That's true. Like people should believe. No, it's the
It is
truth.
true.
Yeah,
That's a funny one. It keeps it relevant.
let me see. Do you believe in ghosts?
Ghosts. No more ghosts.
No.
Not a ghost guy.
Oh man, I got some stories. What are you tired of hearing about?
Well, I guess that could almost relate to what we just talked about.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about people complaining that they're getting listened to. You got 7
sure.
Alexa devices in your house. You're getting listened to.
Yeah.
You're on Facebook, a free platform that uses you for ads. You're getting listened to.
Yeah.
Like, just accept it. Or take your devices away. I am so sick of hearing people complain about it. And a lot of people like to say, look, it's crossing a line. It's crossing a line. Well, here's the solution. Delete the app, or get rid of your Alexa devices or Google or anything Apple related. I'm like,
Move to the woods and get an outhouse.
yeah, there is a solution. You want to be part of this cool tech, like basically growth. Like you have to agree to, be part of this kind of data collection.
The world's moving. Get on board.
Yeah, and at this, like I said, there's certain things that probably shouldn't be crossed. Like, I would be pretty pissed off if something I said got replayed somewhere, which is possible, I guess some people would say.
For sure.
And I could see where that would be a huge issue. But right now, I'm just so sick of hearing about it. I mean,
Yeah, that is.
ads based on your profile, perfectly fit for you. Hello, that's awesome.
And if you're a prospective customer, do know that we do know how to get those ads in the pocket of people who are talking about you.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just searching for you, but talking about you.
Yep.
Let me see. We have exactly 4 questions left. Question number 17 here.
Actually, here, Wes actually made a pretty good comment about the Facebook stuff.
Uh-oh.
He put, Facebook, he personally thinks actually knows your bank account information. He said he's on a trip to Florida. He had bought. 5 minutes later, he got chip ads on his Facebook while he was buying stuff after he had said, information out loud about his information, his personal banking.
So it is possible within the Facebook platform. It's very easy. We've both done this to target people based on their income level.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I could actually see that being pretty true.
Yeah.
But you got 2 things. Facebook is, on a secure server, so essentially they shouldn't be able to get hacked unless it was internal. At that point, somebody's going to jail or prison. So
I think the income level. So on the non-ethical, mostly probably true way, yeah, it knows your bank account information. On the currently shown to the public way, Facebook measures all of your buying behaviors, and so it tracks what you do on websites and what purchases you make and everything like that, and can make a very, very, very relatively accurate hypothesis about how much money you make and how much you make within your family.
keep in mind, everybody gives their job position away.
Yeah, exactly.
And all it has to do is cross-reference Glassdoor.com, which is where everybody gives their income away based on their location, and it can probably figure out a decent range of what your income is.
Yeah, it's
all public information.
It all comes down to a hypothesis, but they're pretty good at making their hypothesis. That algorithm is a lot smarter than you think, and a lot more dangerous, but a lot of fun. So yeah, I think he's not.
Yeah, not wrong.
That is a conspiracy theory. Another conspiracy theory you can believe. Is that
and
Facebook
honestly, if that
information.
information's not taken from Facebook, half my information's gone when. Who got hacked with all of our social security numbers? Like,
exactly.
I give up. just listen to my conversation.
Exactly. I think Experian got hacked aggressively, and I see like on side 1 like Experian got hacked, and side 2 like Facebook tracks everything you do on all these websites. Like again, it's not hard for them to make like a relatively accurate hypothesis.
Yeah, but on a brighter note, all of our websites are secure.
Very secure.
Any banking information goes through a third-party platform which holds it, so we do not give out your information. I don't even get your information.
No.
So if a client pays us with a credit card, I don't even get access to that credit card. That's how big we are on security. So that kind of brings it back security.
And on the ad side, whenever I bring on like a client, like we request access to their ads account, we don't see the last 4 of their credit card number. We don't see anything. We just know that we can buy ads and that there's a certain limit that we can buy up to monthly.
Yep.
And that's what we rock and roll with. And
Security's
that's
big.
good enough.
Yep.
Security's big with us. Just because we don't want to be those guys.
Exactly.
And it's ethically right.
Yep.
So 4 more questions. What would you not do for $5 million?
What would I not do?
What would I not do? I
would not live for my whole life somewhere where it's snowing all the time for $5 million. I hate the cold weather. I would do anything to not be cold.
Same.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it's kind of motivational at the same time. So Indiana, we get 6 months of nice, 6 months of just cold.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm in this I gotta grind. I gotta hustle.
Month number 1.
You couldn't pay me. You could not pay me any amount of money to go and live at anywhere much more north. Yeah, no, it would just never happen.
Alaska.
I always tell people, I'm like, heaven and hell. Hell is not warm. It is cold. Like, if you ever been outside in the summer and it's warm, you're just a little sweaty. You're out in the winter, your body wants to die outside. I'm like, I walk outside right now. I'm like, why does it hurt to be alive?
Why does the wind hurt my face?
It's just one of the goals and why we do all this. I want to get somewhere where it's a lot more warmer all year.
So if you're someone watching and you're a California company who needs them. Let me see. What are some? This is an awesome question. Going back to marketing a little bit here. Who are some people you've met just once, but they left a big impression on you? Just once.
Oh man. I met not just once, maybe a couple times, but not a lot. Aaron Nace. So if anybody doesn't know who he is, he's the founder of Phlearn.com. It's PHLEARN.com. It's a website that was started, quite a few years ago, basically to teach people Photoshop. I had met him through my friend Aaron Brown, who helped me do photography. Took me to his studio in Chicago. That was my first eye-opening experience to studio work, high-end photography for tens of thousands of dollars. Got to meet him a couple times, worked with him on some small projects here and there. Then met him again, and haven't really talked to him much since in the last maybe year or two. But he made a huge impression on me of look, you can take this creative talent and make a ton of money on it if you are the best at it and you make sure you strive. So I kind of just took that idea and his kind of push of you can be creative and make money, and it really inspired me. So that's the perfect person, I think.
What was the worst purchase you've ever made?
There's so many.
Not this month, all time.
All time. Fitbit. So
Yeah.
Fitbit's probably the number one
Can you
product.
describe the last time you exercised?
Yeah. Well, I didn't buy it for myself, which is even funnier. I have a gym at my house. I still don't even use it. But the Fitbit
That makes me so mad. Every time I walk into your garage, I'm like, God, this is like a mecca.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
You have the coolest stuff.
I bought this gym for my house, a full gym.
It's like a rogue rack.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was I don't go to the gym because I don't like driving there after work and spending the time driving because it takes 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, whatever. Turns out I just don't like working out. But Fitbit was a terrible investment. Their product was, pretty much just terribly put together, which is why the Apple Watch is doing even better, I think, now. It broke when I plugged in the charger, and I pulled the charger out, and the entire device just ripped apart. I'm like, what the heck? So Fitbit is a terrible purchase. Are they still doing stuff? Maybe.
I think they're still in business. Maybe is that the company you want to go out of business?
That would be one, yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
one.
Just sell out already.
Last question, very last question. What is? I know you are a gamer. You had a Twitch channel for a long time. What is your favorite video game of all time? All time. Number one. Numero
All
uno.
time.
We're gonna end the podcast.
The most game I've played right now is probably Fortnite. I know it's.
Would you
newer
call
one.
it the best game of all
I
time?
would say it's probably the best game of all time, just because look at how well they did. It's a free game that you don't have to pay to do better at it, which I think from a marketing standpoint is awesome.
Just in the level of fun, that's your max.
I just think they set the example for every game moving forward from not only a gaming standpoint, but a marketing standpoint of look, we're going to give you this game. One, it's free, which is even crazier. But we're going to give you this game and we're going to market it to you where you can buy these add-ons and everything, but we're not going to give you an advantage over everybody else, which makes it fun. Cause then you've got, EA and all these guys charging currency, or they'll sell you a $60 game. But if you want the full game, it's $120.
That pisses me off.
And everybody knows about it. Marketing's well understood at this point to an extent, where people get what's happening. They're not stupid. And I think Fortnite's not only a fun game, but marketed correctly, and that makes me happy. I can play it whenever I want and kind of keep up to date with it. So I have a lot of fun.
No other game has brought together a generation of I'm gonna say sons and fathers, but really that can go into mothers and daughters too. But no other generation has really bonded families. I think I'm gonna say strictly game in the way that Fortnite has, because it really is a game that everyone can play. It's easy to pick up. It's easy to get going. It's cartoony. It's fun. There's not a lot of blood and gore. And the weird amount of stuff that it has inspired, just on a marketing standpoint, is freaking phenomenal. You see the dances, the
everywhere.
Fortnite dances are everywhere. They're in the NFL. People are seeing it.
NFL
Kids are
partnered with them. That's
recognizing it.
never happens.
Exactly. And I'm very curious how much that deal was. It is not public. How much that deal was.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Wes asked a good question. Again, he said, with learning ad-related materials, sites, and references, do you guys like to read and become informed with marketing? So that's a great question. So, I always tell people I didn't go to school, or I did for a year or two for college, and I dropped out. But that's not why I'm successful. I think to be successful, you have to continue being on top of your industry.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing, pretty well right now. Is we are so ahead of local agencies right now that are just slacking. They don't want to stay informed with what's new on the website of the world. They don't want to stay informed with what's new on ad buying. And that's where we are always reading about, marketing related stuff. I'm in a ton of private Facebook groups for web design, for ad buying, for people involved with marketing, other people that own marketing agencies. My Facebook feed is perfectly set up for me. So, I don't get a bunch of garbage. If I see people just that I don't want to see anymore, I just unfollow them. So my Facebook feed is a constant news and way of learning for me right now. And that's why I've got some cool plugins for our web platform. I've got very awesome integrations we built in our own, and it's how we've gotten that far. So you have to be on top of things all the time.
And I think for both of us too, it is something that like we also get, as much as this is our full-time gig, like it's also like our hobby.
Yep.
Like I really, as much as like I do social media for a living and for a job, like even in my off hours, like if I'm not posting or something, I'm constantly like trying to find out like new ways. I'm in like Facebook ad buyer groups and like trying to figure out like what's the best way to like rapidly like age your pixels so that your pixel can gather more data off a website.
Yep.
People are like comparing strategies and comparing like different traffic like measurements and what different like a return on ad spends are, and that's all stuff that like I find like really awesome and a lot of fun, because then I get super motivated. I'm like, I can't wait to try this. Like I know the perfect client to try this with or whatever. And same thing with the constant like learning. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of like ones that like just test different social media strategies and like listen and grow. And just on the organic side, that's important because you always want to know like, is a carousel going to perform better than the video?
Yeah, I know you're way big into the podcast. I know a lot of people are. I'm not a big podcaster. I like to sit and just read it.
You also live like 3 minutes away from the office, and I live 40 minutes. So I have plenty of time on my hands to like just listen to an episode. Not every podcast I listen to is like focused into like business or social media or anything like that. I would say there are 9 that I listen to really aggressively, and of those, six are more like marketing focused and social media focused. And every once in a while I'll dip into the Gary Vaynerchuk pool.
He's very repetitive.
Yeah, not often. I don't dip into that.
Once you get in that kind of like fire lit,
once you listen to like 5 podcasts, you're
like, okay,
pretty much good for the last 6,000.
Yeah, but I mean, if anybody's looking to get, find news and materials to like whatever you're interested in, it could be, sewing, it could be painting, it could be whatever you're interested in. The first way I always start is look up something on Reddit, find like a subreddit and get into that. And then go on Facebook, find private groups with people already doing what you're doing.
The private groups are big.
And then interact, don't troll them. Don't like feed off a bunch of random BS. Like get involved, ask real questions that are relevant, and just get involved with private groups. Facebook's huge with that.
And don't be lazy and make assumptions. With a lot of this stuff, like there is always an answer for the question that you're looking for, and it's just taking that step to actually like open up and look at it, because that's going to open up the next question, then the next question, the next question, and then before you realize that you are the best at whatever you're trying to get into. So don't be lazy. Like have fun with it and just do your thing.
Do your thing. So that kind of wraps it up, I think, right? We're solid, right?
That's it. That was all 20 questions.
Nice. So thanks to everybody who asked questions.
Yes, thank you very much. This was fun. 50
minutes insight into my life, True Mountain, a little bit about Matt and some social stuff, a lot of different conversations. We had a good time with this. We're going to do some more live streams pretty often, along with some other videos. So this is called Mountain Vision. This is Mountain Vision Podcast. We'll have Mountain Vision, behind the scenes. It's kind of like our new blog type setup to keep everybody up to date. So this was episode 1. Just kind of wanted to say hello to everybody, give everybody a little insight that, we are a real company with real employees. We're not just some like digital agency all over the U.S. We are,
there's actual people behind the logo.
Yep, we have real feelings. We make real decisions based on those feelings. So we'll be doing this some more. I would say I think John or Rich will be in the next one. We'll get Matt in a video. We're doing some Ask Me Anythings and ask us some questions on top of some other stuff. So thanks for tuning in. And if you want to rewatch the video, it'll be live on our Facebook.
Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome.